The first chakra belongs to the physical body, which we already spoke about. The center of the energy body, and by the way, also of the emotional body, is the sacral or sexual chakra. Energy is naturally flowing downwards in the body, and when you remain passive, it collects below the navel. There are three main centers in the body: the head, the heart, and the hara. You can make decisions based on your mind, your heart, or your instincts. Of these, your instincts are the most basic and ancient. When your life is in danger, you immediately feel a disturbance in this area because your hara has moved. The same thing happens when you fall in love and you get butterflies in your stomach. A similar sensation appears when you become sexually aroused. Your bioenergy becomes concentrated in your sacral chakra and causes chemical reactions in your physical body. You also connect this feeling in your mind with memories, expectations, and sexual images. Sometimes, but not necessarily always, you attach these emotions to your partner with the romantic kind of love. What is sex and sexuality really? Let's look at the topic from a few perspectives. First of all, it is a biological process essential for life. Life used to be asexual when only single-cell organisms existed, as the lifespan of each individual living being is limited. Biological reproduction is necessary to carry on life in a physical form. If organisms were immortal, there would be no evolution and no possibility for growth and creation. In the ancient past, single cells would reproduce only through cell division, copying their genes perfectly into a new organism. But as the evolutionary process proceeded, some organisms started to combine their genes to create an offspring. This allowed for more variation in the species and higher chances for survival. This is how the first male and female cells were born. Libido is a basic instinct, an ancient biological program. Without the sexual drive, there would be no motivation for procreation. It is as natural as any other essential biological function, like breathing or drinking. Everything natural is sacred, and sex is the most sacred thing in the world because it creates new life. Sexuality is a phenomenon including your lower levels, but I don't mean low in a condemnatory sense. I simply mean that it is ancient and basic. It is a completely natural aspect of your being. In fact, all your cells are sexual, and you are alive as a result of sex. You can pass on the glowing torch of life to the next generation through sex, too. On the physical level, it means joining your body with another body. It is not a complete melting together, only a temporary connection. However, the result can be the creation of a new body that contains the essence of the two. Many things go on in the chemistry of the body as well. Certain sexual hormones get released, and both the female and male bodies prepare for intercourse in their own ways. The blood level rises, the heart beats faster, and the breathing gets quicker. They say that sex is one of the most healthiest exercises you can do. On the energy level, it is an intense accumulation and release of bioenergy. In fact, there is no such thing as sexual energy. What we call sexual energy is really just an aspect of life energy itself, but it is not different from it in its essence. When energy is in the sex center, it is sexual. When it is in the heart center, it becomes love and compassion. And in the throat chakra, it manifests as creativity. It is easy to work with energy in the sex center because it naturally flows there. Depending on your age and some other factors, energy accumulates in the sacral chakra every 2 or 3 days. When it does, you feel compelled to throw it out or to do something with it. It is a completely natural need, part of your biology, just like breathing or drinking. The feeling of sexuality is an overflowing of energy, and the sexual act itself can be described from this perspective too. Energy healers observed that when two people meet, their auras tend to tune into the same frequency and turn into the same color. During sex, the two auras become completely equal, and the two energy bodies melt together totally. This is why there is so much hankering after sex, because you feel a certain kind of oneness. However, you only lose yourself in the other person, and not in the universe itself yet. The point when this happens is called orgasm. In orgasm, your energy body dissolves into the universal energy for a moment. Orgasm is a very important phenomenon. It is the ancient source of meditation. Some people who were more conscious than the average must have discovered the secret of meditation through the orgasmic experience. They tried to recreate orgasm without sex because they wanted the same feeling, but without depending on the physical act, without depending on anybody or anything else. Ultimately, they were successful, and all kinds of meditation forms grew out of this discovery. However, the essence of meditation remains the same: complete relaxation combined with complete awareness. This is why hypnosis is also a natural door to enter the state of pure meditation. Besides, it is possible to create orgasm just through hypnosis itself. In orgasm, not only your energy body dissolves, but all your other bodies too. At the peak, you leave your physical body far behind, even though it helped you get there. You also leave your causal body, and all your emotions cease to be. Most importantly, your ego, along with the flow of thoughts and the mental body, similarly die for a moment. Orgasm is sometimes called a little death because you die momentarily. You forget about yourself and the world, and as your ego and the world are only mental constructs, they cease to exist when you don't think about them. In orgasm, you are pure consciousness, bliss, and peace. Orgasm has another powerful effect. It throws you out of the continuum of time. Time stops to exist for you as you reach the timeless space of nothingness. It throws you back to your original being, into the present moment, into the here and now. This is another important connection to meditation. Now, let's see sexuality from the perspective of emotions. Most people associate sexuality with the feeling of love. However, there are two kinds of love, and people often confuse them. The more well-known but lesser type is romantic love, which is almost like a business relationship between two partners. It is a give and take love and hate relation based on mutual benefits and interests. Romantic love is part of the unconscious biological conditioning, and its goal is to make and raise children. The human species is a very peculiar one among mammals when it comes to the question of birth. The babies of other mammals are almost completely ready for life as soon as they leave the womb. The parents usually don't live in a relationship. They meet only at the time of mating. Human babies, on the other hand, are incapable of surviving on their own. They are totally dependent on their parents in the first years, and if the father leaves the family, their chance for survival decreases significantly. Romantic love is a huge evolutionary benefit because not only does it drive humans to make babies in the first place, but it keeps them together in the long run as well. With this knowledge in mind, it makes sense that romantic love fades away with time. This kind of love is chemical in nature, and the hormones responsible for sexuality and bonding feelings only last for a while. The primary neurochemicals that govern these drives are testosterone, estrogen, dopamine, oxytocin, and vasopressin. The pink clouds disappear from the mind when the hormonal levels decrease in the body. Besides, romantic love is also very much egoistic. You feel a need to have sex because your unconscious conditioning tells you to procreate. You feel a need to be loved because you don't truly love yourself, and you feel a void. You feel a need to be with somebody else because you cannot enjoy your own company. If your partner can fill these needs, you feel love. If not, you feel hatred and you search for somebody else. You don't really love the other. You only love what the other can give you. Pure love is essentially different because it doesn't have an opposite. It is a higher form of love beyond the realm of emotions. Pure love is not based on asking, it is based on giving. The source of unconditional love is not conditioning, but your being. Pure love pours love on anyone without conditions. Sex without pure love is like mutual masturbation. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. It is possible to have sex based on pure love instead of romantic love, but this kind of act is very rare. Not only sexuality, but the whole relationship will change. It will be more like an intimate friendship without attachment, jealousy, and hatred. Only then can the partners become real lovers. Lastly, we can observe sexuality from the mental perspective as well. In fact, most of modern human sexuality is in the head because we repressed it there. Sex became a taboo because of the idea of guilt. As you limit yourself in its physical expression, sex finds expression in your mind. Sex and sexuality got separated, and this is not a healthy thing. For some people, imagination has become more important than real sex itself. Many young people are obsessed with pornography, and they prefer it to a real human relationship. If you never live out your sexual fantasies, they become more and more perverted. In your head, you can become hypersexual, while in reality, you remain a virgin. Even when you are in an actual act with your partner, you cannot let go. You are more in your mind than in your body. You plan your movements and lose your spontaneity. You are like a director trying out a new sexual position or just rehearsing the same old routine for the 1,000th time. You are afraid to give up control. You are afraid of your raw animalistic nature and afraid to lose your identity. It is possible to transcend sex, but only if you release yourself into it with your whole being. If you are divided inside, one part thinking, the other part doing, you will be stuck in it forever. When you make love with your whole being, without inner division. Give up control and let your instincts take over your body spontaneously. If you are successful, you become one inside and outside too. You become one with your partner. Your partner disappears and you feel that only you exist. You become your partner and everything else too. By going beyond your ego, eventually you will go beyond sex as well. Getting lost in sex is the only way of transcending it. The goal is to experience pure sex and pure love. I don't mean pure from a moral point of view. Forget morality. It is exactly what confused you in the first place. Forget your judgments about sex. Forget even sex itself. Do not think about it, just be it. Feel sex as pure energy. Detach it from sexual thoughts, from romantic love, and from your partner. Your partner is not the one who put sexuality into you. Your partner is just a trigger to awaken it. Reduce sex to its essence, energy. Let this pure energy take over control your whole being. Do not do sex. Just let it happen on its own accord. Don't rush to orgasm. This is not a competition. Ordinary sex looks like madness because both partners try to be first. The man usually cannot hold himself long enough because he is concentrating on the result. The woman knows this, so she has to hurry to come before the man does. Just relax into the energy and don't rush. If your partner doesn't know this, teach him or her this small piece of wisdom. The longer you can wait before the orgasm, the bigger it will be. The phase just before the point of orgasm is called the plateau. Try to stay in this phase as long as you can, and when you feel that your energy is almost blowing up inside you, release it with a big bang. You can practice this first on your own, and then with your partner. To go into sex without any inhibitions, without any guilt, you have to let go of the idea of sin. Sex used to be sacred before religions turned it into a sin. Guilt was originally invented for birth control, but it has been unnecessary for this reason since the appearance of contraceptives. Religions also lost much of their influence, but this idea has been imprinted on the collective unconscious so deeply for hundreds of years that you can still feel its power. The other reason for making sex a sin is much more twisted. Religions take everything that is natural in you and turn it against you. They know that sexuality will naturally come up in you, and they want you to feel guilty about it. When you do, you rush into the temple to confess your sin to the priest and to pray to God. The idea of sin is essential for the existence of religions. Without it, the priests would be out of their jobs. Religions make you divided inside. They make you paranoid and schizophrenic. As soon as your natural part would start to blossom and grow, they want to cut its branches immediately. What is even more ingenious in this trick is that they don't cut it themselves. Instead, they persuade you to do it yourself. They create a second, religious or so-called civilized personality in you, which will do the job much better than they could, because they cannot be always there to watch over your shoulders all the time. They cannot see into your head in the first place. But your second personality can always be there to punish your nature. However, this repression leads to many problems and perversions. First, this is the main reason why sexuality is mostly in your head. Anything that is forbidden becomes an obsession. Celibates see sex in everything. They are the most sex-obsessed people in the world. They dream about it, think about it, fantasize about it constantly. When they see a woman, they want to run away. They cannot even look at her. Isn't this madness? Celibates can never go beyond sex. They can be only against it. Anything you repress remains deep within you. Isn't it what repression is all about? You keep it close to you instead of letting it go. The only way of going beyond sex is to free your sexuality. Free your mind from this stupid idea of guilt and let your sexual energies flow freely. Live out all your sexual fantasies. Otherwise, they will haunt you. If you repress them, they will become more and more perverted. Don't be afraid to try out new things. Sex is just an innocent play if you don't take it too seriously. Burn the candle of desire from both ends. Throw yourself into sex totally. Did you know that Buddha had a harem until the age of 29? He fulfilled every sexual desire, so it was easy for him to become uninterested in sex afterwards. You can only rise beyond something that you deeply know. If something is not your direct experience, you can only have beliefs. But belief is the greatest barrier to real knowledge. To transcend, you have to understand. To understand, you have to know. You can transcend yourself by knowing yourself. You can transcend death through death. And you can transcend sex through sex. Sexuality is a very potent creative energy. It creates new life from just two very small male and female cells. These cells contain the blueprint of the most complex biological creature in the universe, the human being. The two opposite cells join together in sex, and the miraculous journey of a small god begins. When you repress sexuality, you repress creativity as well. Repression turns not only into perversion, but aggression too. Energy is constantly flowing into your lower centers, and when you don't let it flow out or make it flow up, it will ultimately explode. This is how this energy changes its quality from creative to destructive. Energy is there. You cannot deny it, and you have to use it somehow. You repressed it into the lowest energy centers, so now it can only do one thing: destroy. Destruction is the simplest way of using any kind of energy. You don't need to think and don't need to feel. To build up a house, you need various kinds of materials, appropriate tools, years of study, and specialized knowledge. But to tear it down, you need nothing more than a wrecking ball. It is very simple. The best soldiers in the world repress their sexuality, and this gives them their powerful, destructive force. This gives them motivation. This gives them morale. If you are not sexually frustrated, you don't want to fight, you don't want to go to war. You prefer to spend time with your beloved, at home with your family. Societies which deny sex and sexuality on a religious basis are always very aggressive. Its members are always tense. They can never relax. If you just say a bad word or give a bad look, they will explode immediately in anger. If we want a peaceful world without wars and conflicts, the first thing to do is to free sexuality from this mental repression. You can understand this very easily. Energy flows naturally into the sex center. If you don't do anything with it, just remain passive, it becomes sexuality and manifests as sex. When you do something actively, you either repress it or transmute it. With repression, you push it even more down forcefully, and it bursts out in aggression and manifests as destruction. When you make it flow upwards, the energy starts to hit your higher chakras while changing its quality. When it reaches your heart, from sexuality, it turns into love. When it is in the throat chakra, from sexual creativity, it turns into artistic creativity. And when it finally hits your highest chakra, from momentary unity, it turns into eternal oneness. This is the secret knowledge of Tantra, but this topic belongs to another time. What I want to emphasize here is that if you cannot make the energy rise yet, at least don't suppress it. Allow yourself to be sexual because you are a sexual being after all. Don't deny your nature, embrace it. Get to know your every level of being from the highest to the lowest without condemnation. Sex is an unconscious instinct, and you are stuck with it just because of that. You cannot accept it, and you cannot quit it either. It bubbles up from deep inside you and makes you act. But many times you regret it afterwards because it brings only momentary satisfaction. You promise yourself to quit it, but after a couple of days, the energy accumulates and you do it again. You cannot fight it, and repression is even worse. The trick is to accept it, but make it conscious. Be in the sex center with full awareness. Watch the movements of these animal instincts. Don't think about it. Don't judge it. Just watch it. Feel the energy accumulating in one area. Feel the tension, the vibration, the heat. Whether you do it alone or with your partner, let it be a meditation. Focus all your energies into this center and stay conscious about it. Sexuality itself will disappear, and only pure energy will remain. Feed this local area with even more energy. Keep it tense. Don't let the tension decrease. And when you feel you can't bear it anymore, release all at once in an orgasmic explosion. This is the first kind, the local orgasm to experience. Rest some days and get ready for the second kind, the global orgasm. You have to start the same way. Become sexual, channel your energy to your sexual center with imagination, and remain aware. But at the point of unbearable tension, don't let this energy out. Instead, make it flow upwards. Channel it all over your body. How do you do it? Again, with imagination. Imagine the energy rising up inside you, flowing upwards through your spine and reaching every fiber of your body. Take deep breaths as if sucking energy up towards the top of your head. Instead of concentrating it locally in one point, now you distribute it globally across your whole body. Let sexuality flow all over your body as if you were thrown into an ocean of energy. And when every cell in your body is vibrating with passion, just quit it. Separate yourself from your energy body and become just a watcher. Your energy body is there, flying above, vibrating on a high frequency, trembling with cosmic orgasm. But you are here, in the center, observing it like an innocent child who sees something for the first time. This is the moment when you realize that you are not energy. It is just a content of your consciousness.